Power, if you hear me.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Dennis Roland Show, sponsored by your friendly people over at North Oak Cell System, located here in Hammond just off of Veterans Boulevard. I'm Marv Verbois alongside Lions head coach, Coach Dennis Roland. Coach, welcome to the show. In the next half hour, we're going to look at the first and second half highlights from this week's game against Tulane University. We're going to look at this week's big play of the week, as well as a scouting report looking forward to this week's game against Texas State here at Strawberry Stadium. We're going to look at this week's player profile segment with senior offensive lineman Calvin Greenwood. But first, Coach, I understand that this week you had some exciting news about your health. Why don't you fill us in on what happened?
Yeah, I did an updated CAT scan, and my doctor, Dr. David Oob, oncologist here at Hammond, gave me the results that my cancer appears to be clearing up, and he wants me to finish I have 2 more chemo treatments scheduled, and I did one of them on Wednesday, and we'll do one more in about 3 weeks. And I tell you, it's been a blessing to all the prayer I've had, encouragement in the local community. I really appreciate it. I'm encouraged by the latest results, and we're going to finish the course. And I can't say enough good things about the service and treatment I've had here at North Oaks, as well as my doctor.
Well, you know, we're all glad to hear that you recuperating and everything's turned out like it did. This week's game against Tulane, very exciting game. I think it was enjoyable for everybody to watch. How do you think the game turned out?
Well, you know, first thing I told our players after the game is we're always going to accept the loss for what it is, and it was a loss, but it was a winning effort. We had 2 great weeks of practice. Our football team got a lot better, and from that standpoint, it was a winning effort. We went to the practice field after the tough loss to Northern Colorado, and for 2 weeks we worked extremely hard. We had a great attitude. We had a proper mental preparation going into the ball game against Tulane, and you know, I don't think there was a player on our sideline that didn't think we were going to win right up to the very last few seconds of the ball game, and they never quit. And I think we became a better football team on Saturday, and I'm really proud of the way my football team responded.
Well, Tulane is a Division I school. Do you think we surprised a lot of people playing them so well?
I think so. You know, the audacity that we're even playing a Division I team out of Conference USA in the 3rd year of our program, and they're probably going to be a good bowl team. I think if you look at Conference USA and where they stack up, and of course we know they had the #1 defense in the country and a good offense and a good quarterback as well. I expect in December for us to see them playing in a bowl game, and every time they show who they played this year, I think people are going to be surprised to see that we only lost to them by 7. I know we were a 32-point underdog, and you know, those things are, I never put a whole lot of stock in that. Like I said, it's all about how hard your players play, and I'm just really proud of the effort. I'm disappointed we didn't get the victory, but I think if we learn from it, if we build on what happened on Saturday, the confidence we gained, the way we played for 60 minutes, the way people stepped up, I think we're going to be a good football team.
What do you think were some key points in the game that actually could have been turning points?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. The kickoff return was a tough one. They were right before halftime. Our defense blocked I believe it was a punt to give us a chance to get a field goal right before halftime. 7-3. You know, that's a mental boost. We had a missed field goal earlier. I think there were 3 or 4 swing points, but we made some swing points as well. You know, we came up with some big plays on both sides of football. So when you're reaching up and playing a team, and I think the thing that people have to remember is, our fans have to remember, is the difference between Division I and 1AA is that extra 23 scholarships, it usually plays out on special teams, because we end up having to play some of our starters on special teams, and late in the ball game they're a little bit tireder, and you got to spend more, you know, that's practice time you got to take away to work on special teams with them, whereas those extra 23 scholarships, you can play those guys on special teams. And that's sometimes where it catches up with you when you have a matchup with a 1AA team versus a Division I football team.
Well, let's take a look at those first half highlights. They're going to be brought to you by the Caboose, with locations here at Hammond as well as Independence. Let's take a look.
Great place to play a ball game. The Sheriff players are really excited coming out of the locker room, and beautiful venue, one of the great stadiums in the country, and I know it was good for our fans. I think it was good for our players, our coaching staff. Just glad we had an opportunity to play a game. Weather was a little warm, but they came out, and I tell you, their quarterback was almost perfect on the first drive, and they got a drive going down the field on us. Our defense, I felt real good about our game plan. We started mixing up our coverages, bringing some pressure, and real good job of pursuing to the football right here. We got 3 or 4 people on the ball. Great defense here, and I think we held them to about 1.3 yards per carry for the entire game rushing the football. So again, a great effort by our defense. It's Put Heron and David Daniels, our linebackers, doing a real good job. Real good job by our corner here, Charles Hall. Charles continuing to play real well for us. Senior cornerback. Good defense right here again. They get a little out route. I think the game plan early on was to try to pick us apart with a little short underneath stuff, and later on we made some adjustments to it. And real good pursuit to the football right here. We got Roland Christian and Pinky Hardiman making a tackle. Offensive line does a good job picking up the blitz, and Hutch Gonzalez, I thought he had a catch there, and we got, as it turned out, they ruled it an incompletion, which I'm glad they did. And Jim Hall gets off a real good punt, and we get real good coverage. Got a little tackle miss right there. We got to make that, but we end up getting secondary guy makes a tackle, and good hustle downfield by David Daniels. Charles Hall on the breakaway here. Look, scared us for a minute because we thought the guy was breaking open, but Charles had good concentration and knocked the ball away there at the last second. Just real good pressure up inside there. We got Duke Adams and Pinky Hardiman on tackle. He tries to do a little pump and go right here and just overthrows it, but one reason he overthrows it, again, Charles has got real good coverage on that receiver. Great pressure up front by our defense right here. Tell you what, Derek Mincy had a great day. There's Rudy Johnson in there. Just a great day all the way around by our defensive line. Again, Charles Hall making a great tackle here on something coming up short. I was really proud of our fans. We had a good turnout by our fans and thought we outnumbered them, and thought our fans were very vocal. There's Derek Mincy blocking the punt. We're going to see that play again later on the highlight of the day, but just a great job by Derek. Freddie King. The first half, but I tell you what, mainly defensive highlights because our defense was just really confusing them and really getting after it. And I didn't think that was a catch, to be honest with you, but I got overruled right there by the official. I was hoping for an instant replay, but in college football, the coaches cannot, well, I guess I got a little animated there, but the coaches cannot, I was hoping if I delayed it long enough, they would, up top might say, let's review it, but they did not review any of our plays. They ended up reviewing one of theirs and didn't review any of our plays. But a real good job by our defense again, coming up and stopping them here. Here's Trey Willie going to get us out of a little situation, and he makes a nice move and ends up picking up some good positive yardage. Good coverage right here. Again, Trey gets a little pressure up inside and he avoids a rush and just kind of gets some positive yardage there. Here he's going to hit Felton Huggins on a little hitch pass, and Felton gets us about 6 or 7 good yards there. Real good job by our linebackers pursuing to the football. And Jim had a real good day punting the football. He ended up, I think he averaged 45 yards, and our punt coverage was a lot better, although we let him shake out a little bit here. Now this is one where they had a clip. It was the guy was in position to make a tackle, and they clipped him. So there's a reason when they throw those yellow flags and bring him back. If he doesn't get clipped, he's going to make a tackle for about a 3-yard gain. And as it turns out, it comes back, and they get a penalty tacked on top of it. So Jamal Jackson catching the pass, and he had to go up a little high. Great job by their linebacker, number 11 there. He's a great football player, and he helped us put us in a 4th down situation right there. Great pick here by David Daniels. This one right before halftime, and felt like it was going to put us in position to get a score. Again, our defense just comes up big for us. Robbie Gates on a short pass. Now we got Trey scrambling, trying to get some positive yardage here. Earl Cage, our pass protector. Earl played pretty good overall for the day. And again, Hutch Gonzalez making a great catch, fighting for the extra yardage. This one was just thrown a little bit behind the receiver. We're trying to hit Felton on a crossing route, and it was a little bit behind him. And here's the block punt right before halftime. Great job by our defense. That puts us at 7 on the year, and just a little bit, pushed just a little bit to the left there. And tell you what, that could have been huge. We're down 7-0, and those points right before halftime could have really helped us.
Well, that was the first half highlights brought to you by the Caboose, with locations here in Hammond as well as Independence. Coach, 7-0 going in at halftime. What was the locker room like at half?
It was very good feeling in the locker room. A lot of excitement, a lot of poise, a lot of confidence, and I liked the attitude of our players coming off the field, coming off and going back on. It was no question. It was where we needed to be to have a chance to win the ball game.
Well, let's take a look at those second half highlights. Going to be brought to you by the Hammond Nursing Home, located at 501 Old Covington Highway here in Hammond. Let's take a look.
Picking it up in the second half, we're going to start a 13-play, 6-minute drive, and Trey finds Robbie Skates for a nice catch. They're going to hit Felton out in the flat, trying to hit him on a little screen pass, but they were covering that, and of course Felton's trying to fight for the extra yardage, but they had that one well covered. So we ended up coming back, and on third down, Trey just ends up making a nice little run and getting some real good positive yardage. And this is Blake Alportis we talked about, moving over from fullback at halftime to play tailback or F-back for us. And he gets about a nice 5-yard gain there and moves his chains. And now we hit Josh Taylor. He's on the ground. Ground can't cause a fumble, but still I'd like to see him keep that ball. We're on the road like that. Let's don't put it in officials' hands. And this is just a great throw by Trey. He's in the grass, but the college football doesn't have the grass rule. And he just kind of pulls himself up and throws it to Felton Huggins coming across there, and Felton does a nice job concentrating on the football and getting us our first touchdown to make it 7-all. Here's another version of that. A lot of excitement at this point. Our players really believe we're going to win. I think our fans are excited. The band's playing. Cheerleaders cheering. It's a great atmosphere. Our defense buoyed by the touchdown coming out and Bud Heron and Pinky Hardman and the rest of our defense just swarmed to the football. Derek Mincy had a great game. Stephen Smith in there, and Rudy Johnson and Jay Skidmore. Those guys really played hard down the stretch. We let them get one on us here, but again, David's pursuing and makes a tackle and, saves giving up a big play. And we're going, the big thing you want to do is don't give up big plays, because you just keep playing discipline and people come up with plays and you put them in third and long situations and win the ball game. Great pressure on the quarterback here, and he just kind of throws it up. And we almost get the pick there. I can't tell who that was, but we almost get the pick. We're back on offense here, and Trey's going to throw one to Jeffrey Howard, and big play by Jeffrey. This puts us in great field position. I think puts us down around the 15-yard line, and just a great job. Great throw by Trey. Trey stepped up in the pocket. We really worked on that last week, 2 weeks off, and Blake Alportis makes a great catch and puts us down to about the 5 or 6 yard line. Like I was saying, it really paid off for us. And we had the low kick by our kicker, and it just unfortunate there, because we missed that field goal, and that would have been a big one for us. We got to work on that. This is a great effort right here. I tell you what, this puts us back in good field position. A lot of excitement there. Trey avoids the rush right here and gets a good in fact, I thought he scored there. In fact, all the versions show, the end zone copies and everything looked like he scored, but we eventually put it in. He does a nice job throwing it to Blake Alportis here, and Blake tiptoes in for the touchdown. So Here it is again. Takes a good composed quarterback, just find his receivers, find his secondary receivers, and like I said, I thought Trey had a good game. Now we decided to squib it here. I got a little greedy. I felt like down here, like that number 4, one of their, he's one of the best kickoff return men in the country, and I guess hindsight, I probably went on and kicked it out of the end zone, but I got a little greedy there, thinking we might be able to get it bouncing off somebody's legs or something, and they returned it. We had a contained man there, got tackled, but we just got to do a better job on our coverage there. Great defense right here. I think the Hardeman and there's, I tell you what, big Derek Mincy. I thought he had him a safety there. They ended up spotting the ball on the 1 or 2 yard line, but big Derek Mincy just came up big for us right there. And of course, here's Trey. I like the way he's checking down on his receivers, and here he finds Hutch Gonzalez, gets us a big play down the sideline. I like the way our players are still competing. It's late in the ball game. We may not, at this point, we're down 2 touchdowns. We may not have a chance, but I said, let's get in the end zone with an onside kick. You never know what's going to happen, and our players continue to play hard and believe, and here Trey's going to get us a little scramble and get us out of bounds, stop the clock. And there, we had this play, worked on it all week, and it's a touchdown. And if the guy doesn't throw Hutch down right there, the official's right on top of it, throws the flag, makes the correct call there, and so the ball's going to be spotted, I think, the 1 or 2 yard line. And we're going to come back now, and Trey's just going to throw it up to Felton, and great throw and great catch right there, and to make it a 1 touchdown game. Unfortunately, that's the last play. It was an on-time play, and time's run out on us, but again, I think the scoreboards reflected that our lines really played hard.
And that was your second half highlights, brought to you by the Hammond Nursing Home, located at 501 Old Covington Highway here in Hammond. Coach, were you satisfied with the play of the second half? I know it was a very exciting plays, a lot of action going on. What were you feeling in the second half?
Well, I thought the opening drive of the second half was probably an exclamation point for our offense this year. To come out, we had, let's go back and review. Mario Gilbert was our starting tailback, and he was injured against Northern Colorado, and he wasn't available to play. Gerald Watson was slated to start, and he played 3 plays and injured a thigh, and so now he's on the sideline. Sam Savoy, our third-team tailback, was injured last week in practice, so he's out. And now we've moved Keelan Davis over to run some plays in that position, and he gets hurt. So we had to make an adjustment, and I played a little cautious the rest of the first half to get us to the locker room. Challenged Blake Alfortis. He plays really fullback for us. And I tell you, he moved over and did a remarkable job in the second half. And so for us to move the ball, I think it was an 80-yard drive, 13-play drive, ate up 6 minutes of clock and finish off with a touchdown. I think that kind of set the tempo for the second half. We told the defense at halftime, stay with us. We're having some problems with backfield. We got to get somebody in there, give us some time. And we come out and we drive at 80 yards. And I think that gave them some confidence that, hey, coach is right. We're going to get this thing done. And so from there, I thought the second half was a battle. We had opportunities. We let get away. Again, we were reaching up, playing the #1 defense in the country and a good offense. I thought our defense continued to come up with big plays. And as the highlights showed, I think it was a great second half and a great effort, and we just came up a little short.
Well, I'm sure you were, but were you satisfied how the team finished the game? I know we came out and had that last play.
2 weeks in a row. A lot of character, a lot of excitement for the future. I think our team's growing up. I don't think we're where we need to be yet, but I think we're growing up, and I think there are a lot of good days ahead. And I had some fans tell me after the game they felt like it was the most exciting game they'd seen since they've been here. And we've played some exciting games, but I think they were proud of the way the players played for 60 minutes.
Definitely was an exciting game. This brings us to this week's Big Play of the Week. It's going to be sponsored by State Representative Henry Tank Powell. It's going to be courtesy of Derek Mincy. He had 2 big plays. He had a sack on the quarterback as well as a block punt. Let's take a look.
I thought Derek played real well at Northern Colorado, but this game here, playing against the caliber of competition he's playing against, he really stepped up. I liked the way he went in on the punt block and blocked the punt. But even more than that, the sack down there that looked like a safety, it ended up giving him the ball on the 1 or 2. Big game for Derek, and Derek's going to continue to play. He's playing like a senior and playing really good for us.
And that was this week's Big Play of the Week, sponsored by State Representative Henry Tank Powell. Derek Mincy, 2 big defensive plays there. That was this week's Big Play of the Week. Now it brings us over to the player profile segment, offensive lineman Calvin Greenwood. It's going to be sponsored by Subway Sandwiches located here in the Student Union Mall. Coach, what does Calvin bring to the team?
Well, Calvin's a big player. I mean, he's a right tackle, big 6'6", long arms, really takes the game serious. He's a very motivated, takes a lot of pride in what he does. And I recruited Calvin out of Northeast Mississippi Junior College 2 years ago, and I'm really proud of the way he's developed and the way he competes on the field. And he's a lot of fun to watch play.
Well, our own Shoney Francis had time to sit down with Calvin in this week's Student Player Profile. Let's take a look.
How you doing? I'm Shoney Francis. Welcome to today's Student Profile. I'm here with Calvin Greenwood. How you doing, Calvin? So, Calvin, why don't you tell me a little bit about the season?
Oh, the season's been going fairly well. I think we're a hard-working team. We got good character, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Defensively, I think we got real good. Got defensive coordinator Mike Lucas, who's taking over, having us running a 4-3, defense. I think it helps out a lot.
All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit about the offensive line?
Our offensive line, from last year, losing 3 seniors, we're pretty good this year. I think we don't have any holes or anything. We're going to even be even better next year with a lot of guys coming in.
So you're senior this year, so why don't you tell me what position exactly do you play on the offensive line for the people who don't know?
I play right tackle on the offensive line.
Okay, you play right tackle, and so you're basically you the one blocking for Trey. Why don't you explain to me a little bit more about the offense? How's everything going with the offense?
The offense, the only thing we really changed this year, people might think we've changed, but the only thing we really changed was the fact that we run the ball a lot this year. We have 2 good backs, in Gerald Watson and Mario Gilbert. They run the ball extremely well.
How is that being an offensive lineman?
By running the ball more, coming from a passing offense, the corners and safeties and everything, they will back off, they'll back off us more. So now having a running game, they have to creep up more. As soon as they creep up, we just throw it over the top.
Y'all start conference play real soon. Why don't you tell me a little bit about y'all conference opponents that y'all have coming up?
Oh, I think, to tell you the truth, from what they're telling me, we have the hardest schedule in the country, maybe. I don't know about the hardest in the country, but the Southland Conference is one of the hardest in the country. So we're gonna have it cut out for us.
So y'all, we're looking forward to that McNeese game?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're gonna want some payback from us beating them last year, and we're gonna be ready for them this year.
Well, why don't you tell me what's your major and your classification, and a little bit about yourself.
I'm majoring in general studies right now, but as soon as I graduate from Southeastern, which will probably be this year, I'm gonna go into nursing. I'm a senior, so I'm looking forward for that.
Thanks, Calvin, for being part of the show, and good luck in the season.
Thank you, Shoney. That was this week's Player Profile segment brought to you by Subway Sandwiches located here in the Student Union Mall. That was offensive lineman Calvin Greenwood. Coach, this week you're coming back playing Strawberry Stadium. It's going to be Texas State here for the conference opener. Are you excited to be back at home?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be back at home. It seems like forever since we played here. I'm hoping we'll have a good crowd. I think we will. I think, surely the weather will be good. It's Texas State. This is our first conference official game that we're going to be competing. We've played some of the conference teams, but this is the first time we're playing an official conference game. That's important. We're playing the team who was preseason favorite in the conference. We got our work cut out for us. They're a good football team. They got a great quarterback. On defense, they got a great defensive tackle. They got a lot of great players. And so we just got to really get ourselves ready and have a great week of practice. And I know our players are going to be excited to be back in Strawberry Stadium for sure.
Well, that's going to bring us to this week's scouting report brought to you by LHC Group with offices throughout the South. Well, Coach, what do we look at matchup-wise as far as Texas State? How do we match up against them?
Well, I think we got some good matchups. I think we got to continue to build on our defense. Again, their quarterback they've got, he's a transfer from the University of Houston. He's tall, he runs, he can throw the ball well. If anybody saw the game against Texas A&M, they had Texas A&M on the ropes at times, and a lot closer ball game, I'm sure, than Texas A&M thought it was going to be. And so we got to play our game on defense. We got to continue to get better. We got to continue to be disciplined. I got confidence in my defense. I like the way our punt block team's working. That's going to be good. Then offensively, I thought that we gained some confidence in the Tulane game. I thought Trey Willie probably had his best ball game. He threw for about 260, 270 yards, but we had about 130, 140 yards of drop balls. We got to get that corrected. And then if we get that corrected and we get our running backs well, we got a chance to match up there. I think our offensive line is progressing. We got to do a little bit better job up front running the ball. But again, give credit to Tulane. They are a legitimately good team. And you know, we know that Texas State's going to come in, and again, they're playing really well. They had a big victory the other night at home, and I think other than the loss to Texas A&M, they've been rolling pretty good. So we just got to make sure we take care of the Lions, have a great week of practice, and the matchups will take care of themselves.
You did say they were conference favorites. How do they match up compared to other Southland Conference teams?
Well, I mean, they're all tough. I mean, Northwestern's coming up in 2 weeks, and you know, we got McNeese, and you know, got Nichols on the way, and everybody in this conference is tough from top to bottom, and it doesn't matter really how you draw them. This is the way the schedule falls. I'm just happy we're going to be playing at home. It's been a while since we've been at home, almost a month, and I know everybody's going to be excited to get back in Strawberry Stadium.
Well, that was our scouting report brought to you by the LHC Group with offices throughout the South. Coach, you do have all week to prepare. What do you look for this week with the Lions?
Well, you know, we got to check the training injury report and see. I know we had a few people banged up after the game. It was a pretty physical ball game. We got to get those guys well. The players will lift weights today, and we'll look at film, correct our mistakes, do a little light workout, and then they'll be off tomorrow. We'll focus on academics, give them a day to heal and get well, and then Tuesday we'll start our preparation for Texas State. And we need to have 3 great days of practice, and then it'll be time to take it to Strawberry Stadium.
Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Dennis Roland Show, sponsored by your friendly people over at North Oak Sales System, located just off of Veterans Boulevard here in Hammond. Tune in next week. We're going to have highlights from the Texas State game as well. We're going to look forward to the Northwestern game. For Coach Dennis Roland, I'm Mark Verbois. Tune in next week.